Hello, welcome back into the A.C.E podcast. Different episode today, completely different, nothing to do with wrestling. Nothing to do with wrestling at all. Of course, there might be some wrestling, we are a wrestling podcast, we do love wrestling, so there may be some bleeding, but we aren't covering wrestling today. That's not what we're doing. We've talked about it, we've kind of teased it-ish, not really. We've thrown it out there, we've heard a little bit of feedback from certain people. So
Chad doesn't count.
Although we've heard feedback from no one then. But we've got a sports edition of the A.C.E podcast today. I'm turning down my mic. That's what if I sound a little different, a little quieter, I'm turning it down, that way I'm not blaring in your guys' ears. I forgot to do that before we started. Anyway, sports episode of the A.C.E podcast. If this pans out, we're looking to do this maybe every 2 weeks, every 2 Thursdays. So let's say this goes up tomorrow because we're recording a Wednesday night. This goes up Thursday, not one next Thursday, the week after that. A lot of stuff to happen. That way we have stuff to talk about. On the docket today, we've got a lot of MLB stuff. It's the main Big 4 sport, Big 5 sport that's going on right now in the U.S. So we got a lot to talk about with the MLB, their All-Star Game rosters, power rankings, and just general recap of the entire season. Who's hot, who's not, all that type of stuff. So there's a lot of soccer transfers going on in the football world. No, not American football. The football world, or whatever they like to say.
Football.
And then
football.
On top of that, switching over to actual football, American football, just kind of talking about the offseason so far, the new rookies that are coming in, especially the rookie quarterbacks. Touch on them. And then to cap it all off, we've got our motorsports outlook for IndyCar, NASCAR, F1, all of that. Not much to catch up on F1. Max Verstappen dominates week in and week out. It's the trap that they fall into every week, but we'll still talk about it. Not all that is necessarily going to happen in that order, but it will be discussed today, as well as the esports landscape, because I am an esports production major. I am very closely tied with the collegiate esports scene. And then after that, we got our little end of show segments. We're going to give since normally we give our Contenders Cup predictions or predictions for a wrestling card at the end, but this week we're going to give our NASCAR predictions for the race at Atlanta, which will be interesting. And then Eli is changing the Guess the Wrestler to Guess the Football Player. We spun a wheel of all the major sports in the world, and it landed on football. American football. Not football.
Not football.
But
Bro, I'm not going to lie, though. I would love to see Eli try to say some of the older F1 racers' names.
You think how to say Ayrton Senna?
I think he would fuck that up, but I also want to hear him say the dude from Canada, Jacques Villeneuve. I would love to try to hear him try to say that. I think I just gave him a stroke just saying it.
You should have heard this man try to say Simon Pagino a couple days ago when we were recording.
Yeah, Pagino is not what came out of his mouth.
Pagino.
Nope.
That's closer than what he said.
Yeah, it sounded better.
So we've each kind of got our own little things here. Obviously, it's always an open floor here at the Ace and Hole podcast. I thought about calling this Ace in the Goal. That's what I thought. I don't know. That might be a little too on the nose. But
by the way, just want to point it out real quick. We have the lovely Fenway behind us.
We do. You'll also notice that we had to switch around the overlay, because if we put everything where it normally was, you couldn't tell it was Fenway, and I couldn't find a picture worth a damn.
Foreshadowing for when the wrestling champ goes over there.
For when the forever champ is going over there.
On the wrestling shows, you're on that. We still haven't done a sports champ yet. So
I'm the champ. What the fuck do you mean?
We'll have to wait and see who the sports champ is.
You gotta be champ.
When pro wrestlers go out in public, they just don't they don't disregard that they have a title. They have a title. They take it with them.
You're the wrestling champ. You could be the sports
I'm still a champ nonetheless. That's more than you guys.
I'm not
can
saying
say.
you're not. I'm not saying you're not.
Wait, hold on. This means that Mr. Ace in the bank over here could cash in on a sporting event, right?
Hey, I guess if you want to. Ever evolving over here at the A's Knoll podcast.
I mean, it's right over here if I really wanted to do it.
You and your big ass briefcase that you can barely lift. Takes 2 hands. So like I was saying before, it kind of, we each kind of have our own little things we're going to talk about. Cliff is very obviously in bed with soccer more than say Eli or I follow it, but I don't follow it to the extent that he does.
I coach it, but that's
same
kids.
thing with the MLB. Huh?
I said I coach it, but that's kids, not professional.
Oh. All I heard was that's kids, and I didn't know what you said before. You had me worried. I've been following the MLB quite a bit this year, as you can tell by my might as well be vintage now. It's probably 10 years old Joey Votto jersey.
And your Akron Zips hat, correct?
It's not my fuck Akron. I don't like Akron. This is the now defunct New Orleans Zephyrs. They switched to the New Orleans Baby Cakes, and then they moved out of New Orleans. And I don't think they're a team anymore. I think they moved out of New Orleans for like a season or two, and then it just went belly up, and they're not a team anymore. I got this when I was down in New Orleans a couple 3 years ago. But anyway, I've been following MLB more closely this year, being a Yankees fan and a Reds fan. It's been quite the year. So I'll probably take the lead on a lot of the MLB stuff, and then Eli knows the most about the NFL throughout all this, so we're going to be talking about the NFL offseason, like I said. I'll probably take the lead on that, and then motorsports. I can talk about all of them. I don't like to talk about F1 because I frankly think it's boring now. As I said, it's Max Verstappen every single week. I've been watching a lot more IndyCar this year, so probably hear a lot of bit of input from me on that, as well as NASCAR. NASCAR is just a toss-up. I follow it, but I'm not diehard on it anymore. But just to put a perspective voices with the topics, that way if you want to headhunt somebody on a specific sport for their takes or who they like, that gives you a pretty easy guide, pretty easy target. But what I've got here...
Throwing shots early, Eli. My God.
What do you say?
I said fuck the Browns.
Well, I don't like the Browns, so...
It's a fair take,
Nick
but
Chubb.
we're still way early in the episode to be throwing shots like that. Hey.
All right. I'm not the biggest Colts fan anymore, but they're still like my team. So
kiss my ass. I
lost a lot of faith when they were even thinking about signing Baker Mayfield. So
and forever screw the New England Patriots.
I can live with that.
I
think
everyone can live with that. Speaking of which, I can finally be a Tampa Bay fan again since Brady's not there anymore, and they're probably going to suck. I like Tampa Bay.
You don't
back
believe in
when
Baker?
Oh fuck, he's their quarterback.
Yep.
Maybe I won't be a Tampa Bay fan. They do have Hot Rod though.
They do.
So I don't know. I'm torn. I hate Baker Mayfield with a passion. I said coming out of college he was a fucking bust. And so far, he has been a fucking bust. He had that one good year, like his sophomore year. But I liked Tampa Bay back when they had Jameis Winston and like when Jameis was coming out of college and all that. I liked him then. I liked him when he had that 40 interception, 40 touchdown season. I was that Tampa Bay fan.
I'm gonna light it up and I'm gonna throw it and someone's there.
Also, shout out to Mike Allstott, the last great fullback, Tampa Bay. Chad's gonna like that one.
Damn, that's an old one.
Moving on to, just kind of getting out of the cold open, kind of dipping our feet in here. The MLB put out their All-Star Game rosters, and we'll go ahead and read off those. We'll talk about the snubs because there's quite a few that I don't know how the fuck they didn't make it. So for the American League starters, you got Jonah Heim from the Rangers, Yandy Diaz, from the Rays. My apologies. Marcus Semien from the Rangers. Josh Jung from the Rangers. Corey Seager from the Rangers. Aaron Judge, but he won't play because he's hurt. Mike Trout won't play because he's hurt. Randy Arozarena. I don't know why it's been a long day. I've been up since 8 in the morning. Bear with me. From the Rays, Shohei Ohtani with the Angels. I'm not sure if he'll play yet or not because of the finger issue. I don't know if he'll play and not pitch. I don't know. That's still up there. They haven't said anything on that. And then the manager for the AL starters is Dusty Baker.
I love that man.
Old Dusty Baker. The American League position player reserves. And for those of you that don't know, the MLB, you have to have a single player from each roster in the MLB.
Oh,
in the All-Star Game. It's been like that for the past couple of years.
Huh.
So every team is guaranteed at least one All-Star. So this is where a lot of the other people will come in. So you got Salvador Perez from the Royals, Adley Rutschman from the Orioles, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. from the Blue Jays, who I saw in person and get an absolute piss missile at Yankee Stadium when I went to go see him when they played. Whit Merrifield from the Blue Jays, Bo Bichette from the Blue Jays, Jose Ramirez from the Guardians, Wander Franco from the Rays, who's going to replace Aaron Judge since Aaron Judge can't play. Luis Robert Jr. from the White Sox, most mid team in America. Austin Hayes from the Orioles, Yordan Alvarez from the Astros, but he's injured, so he won't play. Aldis Garcia from the Rangers, Julio Rodriguez from the Mariners, who will replace Yordan Alvarez. Kyle Tucker from the Astros, who will replace Mike Trout, which Kyle Tucker is a familiar name to Reds fans. And then Brent Rooker is the reserve DH from the Athletics, which I find is hilarious. That is the only player that they got is a DH. And then their pitchers are Shohei Ohtani, which, like here it says unlikely to pitch due to finger issues, so maybe he will hit. Still up in the air. Garrett Cole from the Yankees, Luis Castillo, another familiar name for Reds fans from the Mariners, Sonny Gray, another familiar name for Reds fans from the Twins, Nathan Eovaldi from the Rangers, Kevin Gausman from the Blue Jays, Shane McClanahan from the Rays will not play. He's injured. Framber Valdez from the Astros. Michael Lorenzen, another familiar name from Reds fans.
God damn.
For the Tigers. Kenley Jansen from the Red Sox. Emmanuel Clase from the Guardians. Felix Bautista for the Orioles. Yanier Cano, or Cano, however you want to say it, from the Orioles. And George Kirby from the Mariners, which will replace Shane McClanahan. And that's your American League All-Stars. You'll realize that the starters, it's two fucking teams. It's the Rangers and the Rays. You've got one Angel in there, and Mike Trout. And then you've got, I guess you got Shohei, but he might not even play. So the two people from the Angels might not even play, and then Aaron Judge, who still is not going to play. And just to tell you guys why, the Rays are 57-32, and the Rangers are 51-36. That they have been dominating this year.
Kicking ass.
That's why they're easily the two best teams in the AL. So that's why you're seeing a lot of from those two teams. Moving on to the National League. The starters are Sean Murphy from the Braves, Freddie Freeman from the Dodgers, Luis Reyes from the Marlins, Nolan Arenado from the Cardinals, Orlando Arcia from the Braves, Ronald Acuna Jr. from the Braves, Mookie Betts from the Dodgers, Corbin Carroll from the Diamondbacks. Diamondbacks are a real interesting team this year. JD Martinez from the Dodgers, and then Eli will like this one. Rob Thompson is the National League starter manager, which Rob Thompson is the Phillies manager. The reserves are Will Smith from the Dodgers. I see, this is another WWE pro wrestling thing. I know it's not Elias Diaz, but it says Elias. So it's Elias Diaz from the Rockies, Matt Olson from the Braves, Pete Alonso from the Mets, who I'm going to see play at Fenway. I guess. Ozzy Albiz from the Braves, Austin Riley from the Braves, Dansby Swanson from the Cubs, fuck the Cubs, Lourdes Gurriel Jr. from the Diamondbacks, Nick Castellanos, another familiar red name, from the Phillies, Juan Soto from the Padres, and Jorge Soler from the Marlins. And the pitchers are Zach Gallen from the Diamondbacks, Spencer Strider from the Braves, Bryce Elder from the Braves, Justin Steele from the Cubs, fuck the Cubs, Mitch Keller from the Pirates, fuck the Pirates, Josiah Gray from the Nationals, Clayton Kershaw from the Dodgers, but he's injured so he won't play. David Bednar from the Pirates will replace him. Marcus Stroman from the Cubs, fuck the Cubs. Alexi Diaz from the Reds, the only Reds All-Star, mind you.
That's fucking weird.
Josh Hader from the Padres, Devin Williams from the Brewers, and Camille Doval from the Giants. I'm not even going to act like you said anything because I was utter fucking nonsense what you just spouted. And once again, there is one team here that is up and away, has the most All-Stars, and that is the Braves, because they're 58-24. They're easily the best team in the NL. Next,
we're talking about the fact there's like 7 former Reds that are All-Stars.
Oh my God, there's a shit ton because we traded all of them.
Yep.
Next closest team behind them is the Marlins, who are in their division. They're 8 games back, 51-37, and then no one in the NL Central is even close to that. And then the Diamondbacks have 50 wins, which the Diamondbacks are. They've been young for years. They've been rebuilding, and this is finally the year that all the young guns that they've had kind of turned into veterans that have become their own. So that is the big thing there. And then a lot of names were left off of the All-Star teams. A lot of big names were left off the All-Star teams. A lot of people that should have made it. Such as William Contreras from the Brewers. As much as I hate to say it, he's been good this year for the Brewers. Since the Reds and the Brewers are pretty much tied for the NL Central. My allergies have been acting up today, so if I mention my nose, apologies. Another big one that I know well is Spencer Steer from the Reds. You're talking about someone who has played like 4 positions through the year, and he is pretty much the best third baseman in the NL and the best first baseman in the NL. And he didn't make the All-Star team at all. Really? It makes no sense. And he's a rookie. So, I'm going to go with my little Reds tangent, and then I can probably be done with the MLB unless we want to talk about it more. The Reds are so fucking young, and I'm so scared that they're going to do the shit that they did last year, and they're going to trade away everyone because they've been decent this year. Ellie De La Cruz is the hottest thing in the MLB right now. Everyone's talking about him. People are coming to Cincinnati to see him. They're selling out Great American Small Park for Ellie
during
Cruz
the week.
And this team who is playing like a team possessed, who has their city behind them. The Ellie effect is in full swing, and this team is scary. The MLB has them 10th in the power rankings right now. This was a team who was projected to be in the basement of the NL, let alone the entire league, the entire year. This team is nothing but spectacular and astonishing and frightening all at the same time. Because knowing how the owners run this fucking team, every single Reds fan is scared. Some other notable names not in the All-Star game: Fernando Tatis Jr., Brandon Nimmo, Joe Ryan, George Kirby, Blake Snell. Big names that just didn't make it.
The one Reds player who said that he wasn't going to.
That was
not
Ellie De La Cruz got an invite to the home run derby, and he said no because he wanted to focus on the season. Just touch on standings real quick. I talked about them, but the AL East is easily the best division in all of baseball. Every team is over 500. Get the Rays in first, Orioles second, Yankees, Blue Jays, Red Sox. And then the Twins lead the AL Central by 2 games over the Guardians. Rangers lead the AL West over the Astros. Astros are 2 games back, and the Angels, surprisingly, are only 6.5 games back. And then you got the Athletics, who are 25 and 63. You got the Braves leading the NL East with the Marlins just behind them, 8 games, and then the Phillies are 3rd. The Mets have had an atrocious year. This is not the year the Mets wanted or were expecting to have. They are sitting 4th in the NL right now.
It's not the year they paid for.
18.5 games behind. NL Central, crazy as always. The Reds are leading right now. Like I said, I went on my tangent earlier. Brewers are right behind them, 1 game. They play the Brewers 9 times within the span of 12 games, I think, later in the year. I think we looked that up. So
it's in July.
It'll be telling towards the end of July who will really kind of break away in the NL Central. And then NL West, the Diamondbacks are first with the Dodgers, 2.5 games back behind them. And then the Giants, 4 games back behind them. The Giants are slowly and kind of quietly putting together a very solid year. They're kind of taking advantage of the Dodgers not being, the LA Dodgers. But I think that's all I have for the MLB. I mean, I can go into break down the power rankings if you wanted me to, but I'm just every team I said is good. The Dodgers are falling. The Giants are falling now. The Reds are shooting up that fucking ladder. They're 10th. The Yankees are 11th. The Phillies are 12th. The Phillies, like I said, they're 3rd, but they've been on a pretty good streak here recently. Eli likes the Phillies. So it'll be interesting later on to see if they can keep up this momentum in their trajectory, because the trajectory that they're at now.
We need the momentum that we had at the beginning of the season. Within the past month and a half, we just have been on a strong decline.
You need the opposite.
Beginning of the season, we were doing pretty damn good.
No. You didn't have Bryce Harper and you didn't have your ace pitcher.
I stand by my statement.
You guys did good without Bryce Harper and your ace pitcher.
I stand by my statement.
But you guys finally have the pieces together.
I am probably one of the only Phillies fans that will say I don't like Bryce Harper. I've never really liked Bryce Harper. A
lot of people don't. I'm not a huge Bryce Harper fan. I know he's talented as fuck. I'm not, I respect his game, but I'm not a huge fan of him personally. And then the bottom 5 teams you got are the Tigers, Nationals, White Sox. Bottom 6 teams, I guess. Rockies, Royals, and Athletics. For obvious reasons.
Really thought the Pirates are going to be down there this season.
The Pirates had a really good start, and then they did what the Pirates always do, and they self-imploded. So
yeah.
About as bad as the submarine.
See, I was going to make a submarine joke a couple episodes ago, and I stopped myself. I was like, that's kind of poor taste. But I'm glad to see that.
It's been a few weeks.
I did it for nothing.
It's been a few weeks. There was memes the day of.
Those memes
and
before.
Jokes made.
But needless to say, to end my little MLB segment here, it's very interesting. This has been one of the most interesting MLB seasons in recent history, in my opinion. Probably since 2020. 2020, 2021 were pretty interesting because of all the different COVID restrictions and all that. 2019 was boring as hell. 2020, 2021 were pretty crazy. And then it's kind of simmered down, and now it's back to just being batshit bonkers. I mean, the Reds are leading the NL Central. What the fuck is going on? So it's been interesting to say the least. it's been easy to follow because of how much has been happening. So
it's actually entertaining.
Now is as good of a time to get into the MLB as ever. Ready to say whichever one you want to go next?
Eli, take us to OTAs.
OTAs, mini camps, NFL offseason, what do you want to call it?
Yeah, any of the moving, shaking, anything like that's happened. The free agent running backs that are still free agent running backs.
The major part I wanted to, and it's a huge thing. There have been massive suspensions done this offseason with gambling problems. I think there's been almost 10 players taken out of the league, playing season and off teams from gambling. And one of the worst ones I've seen comes from the Colts. Let me get it real quick. Former Colts cornerback Isaiah Rodgers, who decided he was going to place bets on if his team would win or lose.
I mean,
being a player on your
did he bet on them
team
to win?
It was a mix. He would bet on them to win, and then he would bet on them to lose.
Because Pete Rose always bet on the Reds to win.
I would probably bet.
And that man's
think that
still
he
not in
placed
the Hall
it.
of Fame. So
Yeah. So Isaiah Rodgers is without a team, and he's probably going to end up retiring without a team at this point. I mean, the man, he messed up.
I don't know. Calvin Ridley's back this year. Calvin Ridley was the one who got the year suspension last year.
He didn't bet on his team to win or lose. He just made some dumb bets.
I would rather bet on a team than kill a pregnant woman.
I
thought Calvin Ridley was the dude who last year got suspended for the gambling.
Yeah, never mind. I'm thinking of Henry Ruggs. That's my bad.
Wrong player.
Jeez.
My bad, pimp. Continue. Go on.
Oh, wow.
Jeez. Wow.
Hey, that's that Alabama alumni for you.
Yeah, it is. It is, though.
Fucking hell. Oh, I think this next player actually is from Alabama. Tua played for Alabama, didn't he?
Tua Tagovailoa? Yep.
Yeah.
The man's coming
Fucking
back for another fucking season. Again.
Of course he is.
After, 4 concussions last season?
Who knows?
And
considering
that's
he
only
didn't
what they told
diagnose
us.
any of them, yeah.
He said he thought about retiring in the offseason, which, I mean, man should have. Being a man with 13 concussions myself, you don't mess around with that shit. You mess around and find out with Chris Benoit, apparently, or become Antonio Brown. There's one of two ways with CTE at this point. What a cliff. If we didn't think I was going to make that jump talking about concussions, we were not prepared for me covering football.
I shouldn't have given him football.
Yeah, looking back, this
the most concussion-intensive sport.
Yeah, we'll know for next time.
I will say...
a little NHL update real quick. Blackhawks took bettered 1 overall.
I mean, that was guaranteed.
That was guaranteed, but something to talk about. I thought concussions and I thought hockey, so...
There were a lot of injuries coming out of the OTAs going into a small break going into minicamp. Aaron Rodgers ended up tweaking something, I think, in his ankle. David Montgomery has a left leg injury that's still not been fully diagnosed on what it was to everybody. There's been some arm injuries and some quarterbacks. It's been a mess with the players so far. Going into this season, I don't know how well it's going to be injury-wise. I would assume if you do fantasy football, be prepared to have some backups ready to go and potential trades because your players are more than likely going to be on the bench for quite a while. Bryce Young, actually. The major report I've seen is Bryce Young's been pretty good going through OTA, going into minicamp. with the Panthers. Which, I mean, I don't think anybody doubted that was going to end up happening. But then again, I didn't really watch Bryce Young from college into the NFL, and I'm still kind of pissed that the Colts didn't pick him up.
Well,
but,
we got our guy.
Okay, you got a guy. You got a guy. My favorite player going into this season, freaking Brock Purdy. Mr. Irrelevant becoming irrelevant.
Hey, you know he's still QB1 in San Francisco, right?
Is he really QB1?
Yes, he is. Sam Darnold is leading number 2. Trey Lance isn't even the backup.
They made very certain to say that Brock Purdy going into the offseason and going into next season was QB1. And everyone would have to challenge him for the spot.
Jesus Christ.
There was only one team coming out of...
I kind of heard the opposite. I heard Trey Lance was kind of above Sam Darnold right now.
Out of OTAs, Sam Darnold was the one that was above him.
Taking reps with the second stringers.
The only team, which is very odd, the only team that came out of OTAs with no updates really for anything was the Seattle Seahawks, which they came in with Geno Smith. I want to say his name is Drew Lock from the Broncos for a trade with Russell Wilson. They did a really good season last year. I mean, they either made it into the playoffs or made it close to the playoffs. They had a really good comeback season. I think they'll have a good season going into it.
I want you guys to know that Geno Smith's real name is Eugene.
Yep. You watch Benchwarmer.
Keep that in mind.
Fucking hell. The only major... I finally found the Buccaneers. The Buccaneers update. Are you ready for it, Austen?
I better say Baker Mayfield tore his ACL and is retiring.
Nope. Baker Mayfield and Kyle Trask are splitting first-team reps this offseason.
Yes! Yes! I love Kyle Trask!
Austen, do you want to rehash the story between Baker and Hot Rod?
Yeah, so pretty much Baker's a little bitch, and he's mad. He's still, he was goofing around, but he made a joke about a Hot Rod beating them in the Rose Bowl back in college because it was Baker's senior year, and they played Georgia in the Rose Bowl, and then Georgia would go on to lose in overtime to Alabama in the national championship. But it was like one of the best, it was like greatest Rose Bowl game of all time. All of that, and Baker Mayfield was like, oh, I forget what he said. He said something to Hot Rod about it, and I'll
fuck you, and I'll never forgive you for beating me in the Rose Bowl or something like that.
Yeah, pretty much something like that. Something a little child would say. Hot Rod supremacy here.
Mayfield is still the favorite to win the position, though.
No, he's not. Camp. Kyle Trask is.
It's going to come down to minicamp, and it's going to come down to minicamp. The only way that Kyle Trask could really get it is if he continues to slim down and is able to prove that he can be a mobile quarterback in the offensive scheme that is used to bootlegs and running out of the pocket.
I don't care, Trask better.
Only way.
Trask gap.
All I'm saying is when Trask got drafted, I put out a little Instagram story that said the last Florida QB whose last name started with T and had 5 letters in it was an icon. That being Tim Tebow. So Trask has giant shoes to fill up. And I am full bore ahead on the Kyle Trask fucking train, dude. Even though he's from Florida, I don't give a fuck. He was on the Florida teams that sucked ass. So I don't care. I am full bore ahead on this Kyle Trask train. I am full bore ahead on the Hot Rod train. I have been ever since college. I'm full bore ahead on the Broncos and Sean Payton.
God.
Speaking of which, one thing taken out of their offseason so far is that Sean Payton likes the tight end that I'm pretty sure they drafted that tight end this year. He likes him a lot. He's going to use them as, I think he called it like his X factor, or he has like a Joker. He called him the Joker. And this is like, how he used Jimmy Graham in New Orleans. Is exactly how he's going to use him in this offense.
That's going to be scary.
And if he can get Russell Wilson's head out of his ass and get him playing like he should be, that team will actually be something to be scared of.
A team that's going to be scary going into this season is the Philadelphia Eagles, actually. They have a...
I think you mean the Philadelphia Bulldogs?
Yeah, the Philadelphia...
Essentially.
Yeah. The Georgia Eagles, the Philadelphia Bulldogs, whatever works.
A running back core that is phenomenal. Their O-line is top-notch right now. The defense is doing great. Everybody came out of OTAs perfectly fine. I've not seen really too many injury reports besides Swift, which his is just a slight injury. He should be fine by the time preseason comes around and regular
Georgia
season.
Players.
And they keep getting Georgia. We're going to have a whole Georgia team by the time next season rolls around.
They're fucking good, dude.
I think
good to be
Philadelphia...
a Georgia fan.
If I was a betting man, I would probably put Philadelphia high seed through the season. But my bank doesn't like betting, so I'm not going to do that.
Philly already got their win, and I know Philly sports, they're not going to... It's still going to be Philly sports.
I'm just hoping the Bills actually pan out and do something this year.
The Bills need to win one before this era is over.
I'm not like I like the Bills. I'm not going.
They're on the Madden cover.
Say I'm a Bills fan. God damn it! I don't give a fuck if you call me a bandwagon. I am a Bills fan. I liked them back when they had Tyrod Taylor.
Oh goodness, not Tyrod Taylor.
I liked the Bills when they had Tyrod Taylor. So call me a bandwagon if you want to. I don't give a shit. But I for Josh Allen's sake, he's too good of a quarterback not to win something. Same thing with Justin Herbert. I know they're in the same conference. He's good. I don't think he doesn't need a championship.
Burrow?
He'll get one eventually.
Yeah, he will.
But the people that need to get one are Herbert and Allen. The thing with Justin Herbert is that it legitimately is never his fault. People say that a lot about quarterbacks. Oh, it's not the quarterback's fault. Go back and look at how he played and look at the interceptions he threw. There were maybe like 3 to 5 interceptions that were just him. He made a bad read. The rest of the team is just disappointing him and letting him down. He's doing everything he can on that sinking ship of mediocrity that is the LA Chargers.
Yeah, that's my team for the season, so we're gonna see how
that's
goes.
Not an insult. It's just a fact of life.
Yeah.
The biggest problem with the Buffalo Bills going into this, and these are like I've covered the most noteworthy things coming out of the OTAs and mini camps. The Buffalo Bills is the Stephon Diggs problem. Stephon Diggs showed up for minicamp, but he left midway through minicamp, and I don't believe he showed up for the OTAs. Sean McDermott says that he is very concerned. Hasn't said anything else about it. Josh Allen has said that it is not football related, but off the field stuff is the reason why he has not shown up for these. I hope everything is fine off the field. I hope he shows back up and plays. I do think that the Buffalo Bills could make a great playoff run going into this season and possibly could go to the bowl. But they got to have a lot of their weapons.
The big game.
Yeah. They got to have a lot of their weapons, and Diggs is one of their major weapons in that wide receiver core, so they have to be able to have them. And
so, forgive me, I was about to say,
DeAndre Hopkins is a potential spot for them. Landing spot is DeAndre Hopkins to the Bills.
DeAndre Hopkins has kind of assumed the Larry Fitz role now.
He has.
But forgive me if you have you talked about all the rookie quarterbacks going into the season?
Not yet.
I was about to say we can probably talk about
the
that.
OTAs.
We can probably talk about that real quick. We can discuss all of them and then probably move on. So coming out of OTAs, mini camps, all that stuff, I know for sure Will Levis has been severely disappointing, which is not news to any of us. This is a trajectory everyone thought he'd take, and he's having a rough time right now in Tennessee. So that's on par. Anthony Richardson, the Colts guy, he's splitting first team snaps with Gardner Minshew, but he's been looking better and better and more comfortable with the first team guys as he's been getting those snaps. So it could be very quick progression of Anthony Richardson to becoming QB1. I do believe you talked about Bryce Young, though, over there in Carolina. They said that he wasn't going to be QB1 as soon as he showed up, but everything he's showing, everything he's been doing, he's pretty much beaten out Andy Dalton. He will be QB1. Frank Reich likes him, so be looking for Bryce Young in that Carolina backfield. CJ Stroud. I know a lot of people were also kind of up in the air on CJ Stroud. It was kind of like Bryce Young or CJ Stroud. People were divided. But everything I've read about CJ Stroud saying that he's doing an excellent job and he's been super professional. I damn near said MLB in the NFL and how he's been going about stuff and all that. This Houston team, if they can keep all the pieces together,
it looks good.
If they can keep the pieces together, keep them healthy, and keep them around for a few years, this Texans team might actually be one. They might pull the AFC South out of the basement of the NFL. Because that's where the AFC South has been for the past few years, is the worst division in the NFL. It's either the AFC South or the NFC South. So,
I do have, once you get through this,
I was just going to say, with teams like the Jaguars, who are now having a resurgence, finally playing good ball, the Colts, who have kind of been a couple pieces away from having a really good season, they're close, and this Texans team is also looking pretty dangerous if they can keep it all together. The Titans are on their downward trend right now, which I could not be happier about, but so be it.
And we'll finish the football thing. This was 2 days ago. The Saints tight end, he was traded by he was either traded or picked up from the Raiders, given to the Saints. I believe he was going to have a pretty decent season going into this upcoming one with how the Saints have been getting shifted around and stuff. Foster, I'm going to mispronounce his last name. I believe it's Moreau, but I could be wrong. He is in full remission from Hodgkin lymphoma. A guy who probably could have had a pretty damn good season may have a lot of that cut short this season, which is going to absolutely suck for him. Hopefully everything will be fine and nothing too terrible comes out of this for him. Hopefully nothing terrible in general comes out of it for him. But really sucks. Probably could have had a really good season with the Saints, and instead he's going to have to be kind of just on the outside looking in for a little bit.
What a depressing note to end the NFL on. Well, anyway, moving from American football to the global football. Cliff?
Oh boy, I am so ready. Like I've been waiting for this day. So we will start with honestly one of the biggest moves in American soccer, I'll say it, since, it's American history. Lionel Messi moving to Inter Miami, which I did look into it.
That's
for
massive.
Free.
That's massive.
He chose to come to Miami for free. There was no transfer fee paid. And now the manager, he was a free agent. There was no release clause paid or anything like that. He chose to come to Miami.
Like Miami, United States, Miami.
Yes. Inter Miami is the football club in Miami, Florida. Lionel Messi plays there, has been paired up with a coach that he has had multiple successful seasons with And now there's even talks of other European players coming over because the transfer window has just started. The transfer window is open. MLS doesn't line up with the transfer window for European football because the transfers across usually don't happen. But this is pretty massive.
And there's been a lot of transfers into America from, because we talked about this before the podcast. We're kind of bantering back and forth. There's been a lot of people coming into the U.S. and not as many going out, which is very, very interesting.
Oh yeah,
that normally doesn't happen,
and it's definitely raised the American football level because the U.S. recently just won the Gold Cup.
Who was that? He was a big player in Europe. Pretty much everywhere he's played everywhere else besides America. He came over a couple 3 years ago. He got super long hair.
Zlatan?
Yeah, Zlatan
Ibrahimovic.
He was really
just retired this year.
He really was the first big name to come from another.
What about David Beckham, my guy?
Bro, David Beckham was washed up as shit when he came over. You can't tell me he wasn't.
I'll have to look into this for the next time we do that. I can get you a list. But after that, we're gonna jump into Europe's big leagues, the Big Five. We're gonna start off with my squad, the Red Devils in Manchester. Got their man, Erik ten Hag, has been wanting Mason Mount for years, even when he was in Ajax. Now that he's moved to Manchester United, he got the money. He's got Mason Mount. The starting midfield, is valued at over $200 million between Bruno, Case, and now Mason Mount, along with Van de Beek coming off the bench. It's a big move. However, with the rest of the moves that have been happening, I've got to mention the others.
Arsenal has been spending a lot.
Yeah.
They've been buying a lot.
Jude Bellingham ended his summer search very fast when he signed for Borussia Dortmund, BVB. And honestly, the rest of these transfers we're going to talk about are going to be in the Premier League because they're the ones that have been sending out the money. They're the ones that have been signing the checks. Arsenal bought Kai Havertz from Chelsea for 65. These are only the fully completed. They've actually signed and have gotten through the medicals and stuff. So Arsenal has a lot more. They just haven't passed the physical yet. And then, going through the league, just looking at all the rest of them, and then you get the Chelsea who have sold their entire. They've sold everything. Havertz, Mount, Kovic, Kumbaye, Mendy, N'Golo Kante, Sterling. Chelsea is cleaning house this year. They've decided that enough is enough. They're going to try something new. So,
also, big shout out to the IU men's soccer team. They have quite a few people now in the MLS after this transfer window. I've seen 4 or 5 already just scrolling through.
And then, I must also bring up Man United again as the one true stalwart that has left Man United as Phil Jones is no longer a Red Devil. I will always be a Phil Jones fan. And, he was on the last Premier League winning squad, and he was brought in under Fergie, and he's had a little bit of a rough career recently, but I will always love Phil Jones. And then the more scary thing, David De Gea, his contract ran up. He is now a free agent and is now out and can sign with any team. One of the world's best goalkeepers is just out there. And then we have the Saudi oil money in Newcastle. They've spent $70 million so far this year. And from there, you have Tottenham, but Tottenham's always going to spend an ass load of money. They've brought in James
results.
Maddison. Yeah. Tottenham hasn't won a trophy for a reason. They literally will just throw money at the problem and hope for the best. And so, yeah, honestly, that kind of ties up the Premier League for,
what's going on in La Liga?
All that. La Liga. La Liga's falling off. La Liga's kind of falling off, not going to lie.
I know the Champions League. I know La Liga. I know the Premier League. I know the Champions League isn't like a real league, but because it kind of pulls from all the other yeah.
I mean, it's just teams revamping, teams getting ready to go. Real Madrid actually lost some pretty big star power to Saudi Arabia, the Saudi teams. So they went to go join Ronaldo and make that oil money.
Saudi's got that Vince McMahon money now, so.
And I apologize, I got the Bellingham transfer backwards. He went to Real Madrid from BVB.
Ooh.
So he will be at Real Madrid this season.
I totally mispronounced that earlier, didn't I?
Yeah. Just in case any of you don't know, Jude Bellingham has started for the national team for England for like the last 4 years. He's 19 and was just a $90 million transfer. He's a hell of a footballer. He's going to be a problem for a long time. And then Liverpool, is going to spend an ass load of money to try to win the Champions League, and they just never will because, it's Liverpool.
Sounds like my kind of team.
Eli, if you become a Liverpool fan, I will hurt you. This podcast will no longer exist.
I'll buy a bunch of jerseys and wear them every episode.
Ugh.
You're going to go without a camera then, because I don't want to see that shit either.
Exactly. Now, I will say La Liga is notorious for spending later in the transfer windows, like, deadline day deals and shit. So, just because I only have one mega transfer to report doesn't mean there's not a lot happening. So, but yeah, it's looking very interesting for next year. It's always hard to tell how the teams are going to gel, but I will say that unless Man United can get a goalkeeper later in the transfer window that can play in Ten Hag's system, then it's going to be a long season.
Yeah, go ahead and tell me how Arsenal's looking.
Arsenal? I mean, they've brought in one dude to help fix the issues they've been having, but it's still Arsenal. They're still going to choke.
Yeah.
Arsenal had the league won this year and then decided to hand it to Man City.
I get it, all right? I fucking get it, okay?
So, yeah. Arsenal has as much a chance to win as the league next year as let's see here. LeBron does to win the finals next year.
Ever again?
I don't think that's a fair comparison.
I think so.
LeBron's washed up.
Neither of them are going to win. But, while we're talking about foreign stuff real quick, I'm going to, especially in England, I'm going to dip my toes into the world of F1. Max Verstappen is leading the F1 driver standings. The man's seriously out here doing side quests. He forced his team to let him box in Austria just so he could get the fastest lap point. The man is 80 points ahead of Checo Perez in second place. So...
Is it actually
it's
that
really
close?
Nice. 80 points, Austen.
That's a lot closer. That's a lot close. I know that's a lot, but that's a lot closer than I thought it'd be.
If you get first place and the fastest lap, you get 26 points.
Hey, all I'm saying is if someone wrecks Max, and then like 4 weeks in a row.
So that would have to happen 4 weeks in a row. Is that what you're saying?
Weirder things have happened.
But what happens when he comes back with the same car, but now pissed off? It is a known fact that an angry race car driver can drive a car faster.
He's gonna be angry. It's gonna cloud his judgment, and he's gonna keep wrecking. He's not gonna do as good. I will say though. I was ready to say I'm just glad it's not Lewis Hamilton anymore. I don't got anything against the dude. He's a great guy. This is the same shit F1 does every 5 fucking years. They have someone dominant for like 5 years, and they have like 1 or 2 years of like actual competition, and then someone else just clapping the rest of the field for 5 years. It was Schumacher, then it was Hamilton, and now it's fucking Verstappen. Pisses me off.
I will say though,
I'm still an F1 fan, but god damn, it makes it so hard to fucking watch.
There is an American on the grid this year, so I have hope. Not that he'll be good or anything, just the hope that, F1 will become prominent in America. Logan Sargent.
Well, they're doing a lot of... There's especially in the world of motorsport, there's been a lot of blending and mixing, especially in the past couple of years.
Oh, yeah.
NASCAR, IndyCar, you're seeing a lot of F1 guys come over to IndyCar. You're seeing a lot of IndyCar guys going into NASCAR. You're seeing Formula 1 guys going to NASCAR.
Formula 1 guys.
Yeah, but still. You don't see as many people going to F1, though. That's the thing.
Well, that's because F1 is prestigious as shit. And the points you have to get a super license is horse shit. Just ask, it was Colton Herter, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. He was supposed to be, the reserve driver this year, but, that the FIA doesn't view IndyCar as a proper series, which is horse shit, because Fernando, the only person to have been driven both, went back to F1 and is currently 3rd in the standings. And IndyCar is tough, guys.
Well, speaking of IndyCar, I'll go ahead and take it over here. Talk about IndyCar. I've been following IndyCar a lot more this year, and you see, when you said 80 points, it kind of surprised me because Alex Palou has a 100-point lead on Scott Dixon.
How many points do you get a race if you win, though?
That I am not sure. I don't know how it breaks down.
I'll look that up. You go.
But Alex Palou with 377 points is steadily in first, with Scott Dixon in second, 267. After that, you got Joseph Newgarden, the newest Indy 500 champion. Marcus Ericsson, Pato Award, Scott McLaughlin, Will Power, Alexander Rossi, Colton Herta, and rounding out your top 10 is Christian Lundgaard. Big Lundgaard fan I am. I got to interview the guy. Some more notables throughout here.
If you finish first, you get 50 points.
That's still 2 races he would have to win, and then Alex Palou just wouldn't have to finish. And with the way Alex Palou has been racing this year, not likely.
IndyCar is weird. First place gets 50 points. If you lead a lap, you get 51. You get a point for being the pole sitter, and an additional 2 points for leading the most laps. And for the Indy 500, the points are doubled.
Well, for that, it's they do it to make it a more interesting, actual championship race. Some more notables throughout the field. You got former F1 driver Romain Grosjean in 12th, Felix Rosenqvist at 13, Graham Rahal at 14, Rinus VeeKay in 16th, Santino Ferrucci in 18th, Helios 20th, Delvin DeFrancesco's 21st, Connor Daly, who is out of a ride now, sits in 22nd. Simon Pagenaud had a scary wreck this weekend, sits in 25th. 2 spots behind him, the man with possibly the coolest name ever, Stingray Robb, 27th. And then from there on out, it's a lot of people that kind of just raced in the 500, like Catherine Legg and Marco Andretti, Takuma Sato, all of them. But IndyCar, it's been interesting this year. Pallou's been strong, but Pallou's rise to 1 has been a couple 3 years in the making. He was super strong last year. Pretty sure he won the title last year, and if he didn't win the title last year, he was damn near close. I'm fairly certain he won last year, though. So he's looking to repeat it. He's been a force ever since he's kind of gotten up to the main series there in IndyCar. And then Ericsson's made the jump super successfully from F1. Romain Grosjean, not so much. I feel like Romain Grosjean's most known for wrecking and causing issues rather than being a decent driver in IndyCar. But I would say if you're looking for pure entertainment and competition, like just in a motorsport, IndyCar is probably the place for you to go.
Yeah.
You're not going to tell me F1.
Bro, I was going to say the NASCAR.
NASCAR
I watched
boring.
the Chicago race. I love that shit.
Oh, wow. One race out of the year that is absolutely fantastic, and the other just suck fucking ass.
I've had fun watching NASCAR all year.
NASCAR, well, since we're talking about it, we'll go ahead and discuss the standings in NASCAR. I got William Byron in first, and NASCAR has its own point standings as well. So if you get a win throughout the year, you're automatically put in the playoffs, and the playoffs is the top 16 drivers. So for some reason, it says Martin Truex is second, but really he's first, but he's only second because he doesn't have 3 wins, but he has the most points out of anybody. So once again, NASCAR doing their stupid whatever. So you got William Byron, Martin Truex, Kyle Busch, Ross Chastain, Kyle Larson, Denny Hamlin, Christopher Bell, Ryan Blaney, Joey Logano, Tyler Reddick, and Ricky Stenhouse are your race winners. They aren't necessarily your top 10 or whatever that might be, because I don't know why they do it like this. This is such a scuffed setup for position.
If you just click on the drop down, it'll divide it up by points.
I know, but that's so scuffed. Anyway, you got Kevin Harvick at 7 with no wins, Chris Buescher at 11th with no wins, Brad Keselowski at 13th with no wins, Bubba Wallace at 15th with no wins, and Ty Gibbs at 16th with no wins. So it's interesting. I don't know. NASCAR just hasn't been like it for me this year. IndyCar has been it for me this year. NASCAR, not as much.
I just want to bring up real quick that last year defending champion Chase Elliott is the hell.
What?
You good? Does no one else hear that? I'm losing my shit. Bro, I'm going through it. Anyway, I just want to say that Chase Elliott is currently not in the playoffs.
He is far away from the playoffs.
Broke his leg, missed like 4 races, and then got that penalty.
Got suspended, yeah.
Yeah. He's gonna have to win a race to get into the playoffs.
He's 24th behind Corey LaJoie.
Yep. And you know who's 25th? Ryan Preece. So,
quick shout out to Shane Van Gisbergen.
Oh my God.
He
Master
drove the
class.
Honestly. Came over from Australia, the V8 supercars over there in Australia, and he whipped everyone's ass. He was there all race, and he raced hard when he needed to. And he
saved his equipment. He knew what he was doing.
He got his inaugural win at the inaugural Chicago Street Race. So, big shout out to him. I don't know. When it comes to NASCAR, it's just, I can't talk about it as much as I can IndyCar. Like, I could, but I don't want to.
Well, then, Eli, you've
What's
got
up?
some guess the shit for tonight, right?
I was silent that whole time.
I know. I'm trying to get you back involved.
Are we doing that first, or are we doing the picking a
We'll
driver?
do that and then the predictions.
Okay.
What are we guessing again?
Football player. Cliff,
Oh.
left or right?
I don't want that choice.
Austin, left or right?
I
make
pass.
Cliff choose. Make Cliff
I
choose.
pass.
Cliff, back to you, left or right?
I pass.
Bitch, you don't want me picking for you.
We'll do right.
Okay.
I don't like that.
I will go through his career highlights and awards before doing anything else. Are you ready?
Oh, God. Oh, no. But I don't have a choice, so let's do it.
NFL Offensive Rookie of the Year, 1998. NFL Comeback Player of the Year, 2007. Four-time first-team All-Pro, 1998,
Bro,
2000,
expect me to
2003,
remember the Rookie of the Year when I came out of the womb.
Six-time Pro Bowl, 1998 to 2000, 2002, 2003, 2007. NFL five-time receiving touchdown leader, 1998, 2000, 2003, 2007, 2009. NFL 2000 All-Decade Team. NFL 100th Anniversary All-Time Team. Minnesota Vikings Ring of Honor. 50 Greatest Vikings. New England Patriots All-2000s Team. New England Patriots All-Dynasty Team.
Oh,
PFWA
shit.
Easy, bro.
All-Rookie Team, 1998. NCAA IAA National Champion, 1996. Fred, I'm going to mispronounce this name, Biletnikoff Award, 1997. Consistent All-American, 1997. MAC Most Valuable Player, 1997. MAC
Not the
Offensive
Mac,
Player.
bro.
The Mac.
Offensive
Not the
Player
Mac.
of the Year, 1997. Orange Bowl Champion, 1995. He has most receiving touchdowns in a
What?
most receiving touchdowns in an NFL season, 23. Most receiving touchdowns in a rookie season, 17. His career NFL statistics are 982 receptions. Receiving yards is 15,292 with 15.6 yards per reception and 156 receiving touchdowns. He is in the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
I know exactly who this is. If you don't remember his name, bro, pity on you.
You want a
Randy
hint?
Moss?
It is Randy Moss.
Okay.
Because you want to know
never
why?
won a Super Bowl.
I got to look up Randy Moss to see what Mac school he went to now.
Marshall. He went to Marshall. Marshall was a part of the MAC.
Ah.
Way back when.
The next thing after that,
they won the MAC quite a few.
The thing after that was going to be the teams he was on, which was Minnesota Vikings, 1998 to 2004, Raiders 5-6, Patriots 7-10, Vikings 10, Tennessee 10, San Francisco 49ers 12.
Well, good thing he
That's
didn't
right. He
get
took
that.
that gap year.
I was ready to say, good thing he didn't take that because I would have thrown him off. Because I guarantee you wouldn't remember.
No.
Austen, are you ready?
I guess.
Did I get the easy one or the hard one?
You'll find out here in a second.
Oh, no.
Pro Bowl,
doesn't still
1990. Heisman Trophy, 1985. Walter Camp Award, 1985. SEC Player of the Year, 1985. Sporting News Player of the Year, 1985.
I think
UPI
I know who this
Player
is already.
Of the Year, 1985. Two-time consistent All-American, 1983, 1985. Three-time first team All-SEC, 1982, 1983, 1985. Auburn
The SEC.
Tigers retired his number. He has
Who
rushing
did?
yards,
Who did?
2,782.
Who retired his
5.4
number?
yards per
Answer
carry.
me!
Auburn Tigers. He has 18 rushing touchdowns in his career in the NFL.
18?
The next bit of his career will be a hint, if you want to use a hint.
Is this Bo Jackson?
It's Bo Jackson. The hint was
You
going to
don't
be
know
his
Bo.
It was going to be his MLB.
Knows.
It was going to be MLB for the hint.
Knows.
The man
My
played for
God.
the Raiders.
That's funny. I was very say that's funny because you were just talking earlier, Cliff, about how there's not really any multi-sport athletes.
That's exactly why I picked them.
And I was raking my brain. I was like, who the fuck went to Auburn? And I was like, well, the only player not named Cam Newton that's worth a shit that came out of Auburn is Bo Jackson. I can't remember any other Auburn player that's been like super good to come out of there. And a lot of people don't think about his college career either. They think about him going to the Raiders, dislocating his hip, retiring, and then going to play in the MLB.
Baseball.
Should have given me Herschel Walker.
I thought that's the direction he was going at first.
Bo Jackson, Cam Newton, Charles Barkley, Pat Sullivan, Frank Thomas, Cadillac
Fuck
Williams.
Charles Barkley.
I meant NFL. I meant NFL, bro.
Cadillac Williams, Jason Campbell, Jimmy Hitchcock, Tucker Fredrickson.
You said Hitch.
Carlos Fladras, fuck you. Ed Hayes, fucking hell. Keo Spikes. There's a lot of actual NFL players. Ronnie Brown played for Auburn.
None that are I said no really good players that came out of Auburn. Jason Campbell wasn't bad, but he wasn't Bo Jackson or...
You know what you should have done, Eli? You should have gave one of us Bo and the other the Boz.
Oh my God, Brian Bosworth. This man played like 2 games in his entire NFL career for the Seattle Seahawks.
I was going to pick Terry Bradshaw.
Ooh.
Oh my God. That would have been like 1930 consensus All-American. 1931 Heisman winner.
What year did Bradshaw win the Heisman? I gotta know now.
Probably like 70s, bro. Probably something like that.
There's no way it was that recent.
Anyway,
Anyway, we have predictions to do.
He never won it.
Wow.
I was surprised you didn't give us like Johnny Unitas or something.
No, it was going to be Bo Jackson and Terry Bradshaw, but I changed it to Randy Moss because I figured no Super Bowl would trip you up.
I'm starting off strong. I'm 2-0, baby.
2-0.
Yeah, I got both of them right.
You weren't in contention to get mine right, though.
You didn't even know what Max school he went to.
That doesn't matter. I got the dude.
After you had to sit there and think about it, like it wasn't obvious.
Bruh, Bradshaw went to Louisiana Tech. No way he was winning the Heisman.
No motherfucker from Louisiana Tech is winning no goddamn Heisman, I can tell you that.
But he did go number 1 overall.
And he won 4 Super Bowls.
4 Super Bowls, 2 Super Bowl MVPs. He was the actual league MVP. Damn. That's the thing, though. He's a Steelers dude. I would not know anything about the Steelers.
Ooh, I just about ate shit on recording.
All right. So we are introducing the ace in the whole sports belt.
I didn't agree to this.
That sucks.
It's got to be a ring. It has to be a ring.
Sure, we'll do a ring. I got a ring right here.
I got a ring.
No.
It's got to be a ring.
What I'm getting for our actual title on the main podcast is a ring. This can't be a ring.
Damn.
I'm putting my foot down. This is a trophy.
Okay, I got a trophy over there.
We have the Contenders Cup, though. Damn. We'll figure it out. Whoever wins gets to pick. How about that?
I'm getting a legit like pinky ring.
Nice. The MJF style.
Yes. Once I get enough funds and once I'm stable and on my feet, getting that nice summer money, I'm gonna show up. The ring's got our logo on it. It's gonna say greatest Ace and Hold Predictions champion.
I got my class ring.
Just for me to take that away?
You won't be taking the ring. You'll be taking whatever you pick. I was looking at Eli's giant-ass briefcase over there. It distracted me.
So anyway, for the sports predictions, we will be predicting the NASCAR Cup race in Atlanta. So the floor is actually, how do we decide this? Champ, you want to go first?
No.
I think the champ goes first here.
No. Putting my foot down.
Yeah, champ goes first.
I'm going to spin a wheel.
I want Eli to go first. I want to hear Eli.
Yeah, you know what? I agree. It's 2-on-1.
We're spinning a wheel.
First.
We're spinning a wheel.
No, I want to hear Eli's intellectual thought process behind the pick he's going to go with.
The majority has spoken, Eli.
For the winner of the Quaker State, available at Walmart 400. That is the name of the race.
I'd like to point out that the wheel picked A, which means Austen.
The podcast has spoken. Go first, Eli.
Fuck you. Shit. You guys act like I still watch enough NASCAR to know shit.
Hey, you said you had a pick.
I got a pick. I don't know if it's a good pick. I'm going with the man with the most points. Yes, William Byron's at the top. I'm going Martin Truex Jr. I'm going with somebody I actually know the name of. First off, that I know the name of. Secondly, that I know because a lot of these people I don't fucking know anymore. And I ain't picking Kyle Busch because I'd rather shoot myself than do that.
So who is it?
I'm picking Martin.
Martin Truex Jr. MTJ.
That's a pick.
That is a pick. He has not been great. He's not been great on speedways, but could be his week to break out. Who knows?
You never know.
Go ahead, Cliff. I feel like you're feeling with confidence after that.
I am feeling confident because I've been looking through. I look into history because that's my thing. On the other thing, Kevin Harvick is the winningest driver at Atlanta Speedway in Atlanta's history.
And he needs a win.
He does need a win. However, there is another track on the schedule they've already raced at in Vegas. Larson and Byron were fighting really hard for that one. So it's kind of up in the air for me.
You got to.
I'm not picking Kyle Busch, but that's just a personal reason why I'm not picking Kyle Busch.
He's a bitch.
So I'm gonna take William Byron.
See, that was one of them I thought too.
I'm gonna take William Byron, and if none of them win, whoever finishes the highest of our three drivers.
So here's my thing. I've been looking through the season. Who's been good at the speedways? Who's been good at the super speedways? Road courses don't really count. They aren't running the Roval, are they? That's later in the year.
Oh, are they running the Roval?
I don't think so.
Oh, I hope not.
Pocono.
Oh, they're running the Roval.
No, I don't think they are. I think they run the Roval
Milwaukee
later
Mile,
in the year.
Kansas, Bristol.
Yeah, this is the
Talladega
Oval. The Roval
Homestead.
is later.
Phoenix.
That's what I thought.
That
scared me.
Chase Elliott won last year. I don't think he's going to win it again this year. Feels criminal almost to pick against Kyle Larson. But he's been really good at the short tracks. He was good at Richmond, which is also another short track. William Byron has ran the speedways this year. I don't want the same pick as you, though. That's the thing.
You could have went first. I tried to let you go.
Byron will probably win, but
October 8th is Roval.
Yeah, I just looked.
Going on a limb here, I'm taking Ross Chastain.
Oh!
Can I say that was a pick I thought of, but I didn't do?
Oh!
So I don't know how much confidence you should have in that.
I would put money on Ross Chastain causing more problems.
Hey, you said the highest finishing person out of all of us.
Yeah.
He's won one race, but he's third in points.
Truex is first. And I still gave Eli shit for the Truex pick.
Well, Byron's second. But my thing is Chastain has consistently finished up front most of the season. And he won at Nashville, so he can win. I don't think he's going to be dominant all race. I think he's just going to kind of be there and then somehow be there at the end. I don't think it's going to be a dominant win by any means.
He'll just hang out and just so happen to be there.
Yeah. He might wreck his way to win. Who knows? It could happen.
We'll have to see. I mean, he will turn somebody for the win.
We've seen that many a times. I'm just glad none of us picked like Denny Hamlin or something.
Hamlin and Logano are the two people I cannot stand.
I'm not huge on Logano either.
And then for some reason, it feels like Busch and Keselowski are now the old heads of the series, and I don't like either of them either.
Because they are the old heads of the series.
And Harvick's retiring, so you can't really call him anything other than retiring. So,
and then MTJ's up there as well. He's one of the old heads as well.
Who?
MTJ, Martin Truex Jr.
Oh, yeah.
Kyle Larson's kind of up there too. Kyle Larson's really one of the first ones we've kind of experienced him come in and then have that like rise to. So it'll be interesting, a handful of years from now to see
what the landscape looks like.
Yeah, see how William Byron pans out, Alex Bowman, Ross Chastain, and whoever else enters.
Suarez.
I mean, fuck, there's a 15-year-old out there in the CRA Super Series.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure his last name's Swalich. He's good. He can race. So, hell, we could see Frankie Muniz in a cup car in 2 years' time.
Yep. He's
Landscape
able to run it in ARCA.
Landscape's interesting. But I think that about puts a wrap on our first sports episode.
This turned into a full episode. Oh,
you said
pin counter.
You said
first time I dropped it.
You know, there's a lot of Stardom shows coming up soon.
No.
You don't have to worry about that. Champ would have to worry about that.
Oh, I thought you meant for the Contenders Cup.
Champ would have to worry about that.
Oh, God, I don't want to have to mediate. I don't want to be in the middle of that fight. My God.
Well, since you're challenging me, that means you have to go first on every pick.
I'm just saying.
Well, I'm just saying, since you're putting the briefcase on the line, you know, if you do cash it in, you have to go first on every single pick, and I can just mirror every single pick you have, and we can tie.
Do that.
We can tie, and then the belt goes to me.
Women's soccer is coming up soon too.
That is fully within my rights as champion.
Women's World of Soccer comes up July 20th.
Just as any other champion in any pro wrestling organization can get out of the ring and walk away and take that 10 count and retain their belt.
I thought the stipulation was I got to make the stipulation to the match. Maybe I'm wrong.
When was that ever said?
I have to go back, but maybe I decide to pick the 2023 Women's World of Soccer to whoever wins this prediction. Pick a matchup from there.
Why would you want to do that? You just said earlier that you know nothing about soccer.
I can do whatever I want. I can do whatever I want.
Damn, Cliff, I can
one and
strays.
the other.
Apparently, I am.
Well, this talk can continue on the other
on the ace.
Yeah,
of the ace in the hole.
On the main show, on the A show. This is the B show for now.
Yeah.
Consider this Rampage. Yeah.
Can I be Collision? I don't want to be Rampage.
Well, right now we're Rampage, buddy.
Mm.
You guys got any shticks you want to throw in there before I sit there home?
I need a week to think of one. This kind of happened out of nowhere.
I think this is my shtick for a little bit.
Yeah, I ain't got nothing. Give me a week.
I'm glad your personality lies in a briefcase, much like your balls lie in some woman's purse, Eli. Okay, just sit there. That's fine. Easy punching bag.
He gave you nothing to feed off of. My God.
That's all right. I'll just keep taking punches. Fine with me. Oh, that wraps up this episode.
I'll throw something out there real quick. Don't you ever just settle for fine? A quote by Roy Kent of Ted Lasso. If you haven't seen it, I recommend it.
Liberals and their Ted Lasso, bro.
It's literally just a soccer show, my guy. Calm down.
No, I'm not even lying. I think every single person that has watched Ted Lasso is like super far left leaning.
That's the weird thing, though. M's parents got me onto that, and they are severely the other way.
I don't know what it is, but like I always have like left leaning friends like, bro, you gotta watch Ted Lasso. That shit's so good. I got nothing. I bet the show is great. I just don't have Apple TV, so I can't watch it.
We got it just specifically for that.
It's kind of a running gag with me and one of my other friends too. Like it's such a liberal show.
It's literally a sports show. Like I don't get it.
I don't either, but it makes sense because that's how it is. But
all right.
As we wrap up here, be sure to let us know if you like this, if you didn't like it, what you would want to see, what other sports you want to hear from. Make sure you do communicate that with us. Make sure you love yourselves, love each other. This may be the B show, but we're going to preach the same thing as we always do. So yeah, just remember, if you're a Yankees fan, like I am, we've got you covered because we're your ace in the hole. I'll catch you on down the road. Yeah.